Hi, and welcome to another edition of the SPFL Through the Lens. And welcome back. We've had a few weeks off, give us a bit of a rest. And how we doing, Jason?
Doing all right, pal. Doing all right. Enjoyed the wee break off. Recharge your batteries. Yep. Going well.
You still training, or is that you finished up?
No, still training. Yeah. Playing your team at Rangers Park or whatever park it's called these days, the Hummel or Sevco Park, whatever it is. On Sunday.
I think it's just a training centre, is it no?
I think it is. Rangers Training Centre. I think it is. So got them on Sunday, and I think what we're trying to do is maybe think about going right through the summer because obviously the COVID thing.
Right.
Big Dale thinks they've had enough time off, so he's going to try and keep them fit by doing as much. That's the news I'm hearing. So interesting.
Good.
Interesting.
Well, I'm saying good. Is it good for you guys? Because obviously then, I was going to say people are on holiday, but Christ almighty, where the hell can you go these days?
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing. For me personally, I would prefer to be continuing what's actually happening because what you got to do is just hang about the house and
make a nuisance of
you
yourself.
Can't go anywhere. Yeah, well, I'm good at that. I'm certainly good at that. Mrs. L would definitely. Mrs. L, drop my iPad there.
Right, I think
she would definitely agree with that. Anyway.
Aye, I think the first thing we need to say is get well soon to our co-host Sean, who's not feeling too great at the moment.
Faggot.
Get well soon, buddy, and hopefully speak to you soon and see how you're getting on. So you're back to work and being a nuisance. So I think obviously we'll try and get a quick one this week just to start us off with, blow the cobwebs off, and try and talk about our team of the year since everything's all done and dusted with the league. And how do you think the league went this year?
I think Rangers need to. If you to say at the start of the season, who's the pressure on? Undoubtedly, it'd have to be Rangers
For the coming season?
Yeah, no, for that season there.
Yeah.
Because to stop obviously 10 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I think Celtic taking the foot off the gas a bit, and some of the players didn't realise how important it was to them, to the fans, to the history.
Mm-hmm.
So massive plaudits to Gerrard and his background staff and his players for doing that. And again, for me, undoubtedly, because them being so good this year, I think a lot of them will be in certainly my team of the year anyway. There might be a few curveballs in there.
But sometimes it just all depends on what your views are and how you look at football. I suppose everyone's opinion's totally different, and that's a good thing about football, isn't it? Where you constantly you'll have debates with your pals where beforehand you'll be sitting in the pub and saying, "Oh, this player's better than that player," and try to give your reasons why. But it just all depends on how you look at a football game and how you look at players and what you're looking at. It's like every team when they're looking to sign a player. Yeah, he'd be good for our squad, or no, he won't be.
And you're right. Opinions. Everybody's got opinions. I mean, no, you'll have a million opinions when the pubs open back up shortly about the Scotland. I mean, everybody's talking about Billy Gilmour and McGregor. Who plays between they two, and then you're forgetting you've got McTominay in there, McGinn in there, you've got Armstrong in there, Christie in there. I mean,
it's obviously, well, no, obviously, for a lot of years, I've not really been interested in international football of any. Whether I'm a Rangers fan or no, I'm not into this.
England,
Northern Ireland. No, definitely not. And Celtic, Republic of Ireland, and all that sort of stuff. I'm not into all that nonsense. I just think, when you look at England beforehand, you wondered they had all these groups of players like the Gerrards, the Lampards, Ferdinands, and all these absolute world-class players, and how they never became a good squad.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it just shows you these international teams have wee cliques. I think a few of them admitted back in the day they had wee cliques where the Liverpool guys would sit with them and the Man United guys would sit with them, and it just didn't seem to work. But Steve Clarke, whether you like him or loathe him, I think he's done a fantastic job.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty exciting, the squad he's building.
Yeah, 100%. I watched. Do you know? I love to watch other sports to see where they get their inspirations from. On cases like this, American football guys. Well, I mean, some of the coaches over there, some of the statements they come out about, like team building and whatever. And that's massive in America. But I tell you, it was. I just watched it the other night. There was the Lions tour with McGeechan.
Right.
And I mean, the players playing, some top rugby players there playing with high-end clubs, smashing, like proper smashing each other, obviously because of rugby. And the environment. I mean, you heard. It's quite amusing how one guy hated Jeremy Guscott. Before, right. He had just this thing in his head, or he's quite a smarmy guy and whatever. And after that tour, he became the closest guy to him. Like even still to this day, they're solid mates, and they only got mates through obviously the Lions tour.
That's doing good management, though.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. If you can create that.
Club atmosphere in an international stage.
That togetherness, but you need that for the get-go. As soon as you go in there, that's to get the players on your side, and this is going to be the massive challenge for the new Celtic manager. I mean, what a time to come in if you're the Celtic manager. I mean, you've got a squad that you don't know if some of them still going to be there. Yeah, you don't know.
It's a clean slate, isn't it?
Oh, you can just... I feel sorry for the new guy coming in, if I'm honest. But on the flip to that, someone else said to us as well, nobody had heard of Wim Jansen before he came to the club, and then he won the league in his first season. So,
see this. I don't go with this argument where everybody's putting Rangers as favourite for the league winners for next season, because obviously Celtic got a big rebuilding job. Anything could happen. Rangers could lose a lot of players. They could lose Gerrard. Hopefully they don't, for Christ's sake. That'd be just travesty. But you don't know who Celtic are going to bring in. This guy's man management skills could be second to none. Yeah. And he's got the players playing in the system. Obviously, you want to hit the ground running and as early as you can and as quick as you can. But do you know there's a bigger picture that happens behind the scenes at a football club? So I'd like to think if you were a Celtic fan, things are happening. At the moment, for the outside looking in, it looks the club's in turmoil with a lot of transition, with chief executives leaving and coming in, and there's obviously wiping the slate clean straight from the top to the bottom. So it's a big job. It's a massive job, and it'll be interesting to see how things go. I think the only way you can judge it is, I would say, after New Year's Old Firm game. Then you can say, we could all have our opinions. Yes, I think Rangers will win the league. No, I think Celtic will win the league. Maybe Aberdeen, Hearts, maybe Hibs will come second or third. You can all have your opinions, but it's how they hit the ground running. And as I say, Rangers and Celtic could lose. Well, Celtic will lose a lot of players, obviously. It's
definitely a rebuild job there. That is a rebuild job there.
It's a big job. But as you say, Wim Jansen, I mean, not a lot of people had heard of him, and look at the job he's done.
I'm going to throw another wee curveball in here, Peter. I don't think they'll win the league, but I think they'll finish second. It will be Aberdeen.
Really?
Yep.
That's a big shout, Jason.
A big shout, isn't it? It's a big shout. And
to split the Old Firm.
Yeah. I mentioned that today to someone who I know very, very well, who's a Celtic fan, and he just laughed at me. And I went, well, we'll see.
Christ mate, that's some shout.
Yeah.
Why no Hibs?
I think they'll still finish fourth. I think.
Do you think Aberdeen's going to be a better side than Hibs?
Yeah, and I think Glass and Brown will have a budget there, which probably Derek McInnes probably never quite got.
But I suppose on you go. Sorry,
Derek McInnes. Sorry, I think Derek McInnes done a fantastic job there. But I think it was time for a new change. Yeah.
But then you throw it. I'm forgetting about Scott Brown going up there. You've got this winning mentality.
Yeah.
And as an opposition fan, you love to hate him. But the players that have played alongside him love him.
Yeah. He'll bring a winning mentality to the. I mean, a draws in his book is no good enough.
It's just as good as a defeat, isn't it?
Yeah, and he'll bring that. He'll bring that as assistant manager. Obviously, he'll still play. I think there's still maybe 2 years left in him anyway.
Tell you something, I've been impressed with St Mirren signing all these players over the last day or so.
The one I'm worried about is us. I mean, I'm saying to myself, oh, there's Devante Cole away there as well now, and I'm going, and now we're I think we've only signed one guy, Mother. I think it's only one guy who's saying come on.
No, there's plenty of time still. No, I mean, I can see your point. If you were buying players the top of the Premiership and international players, but well, saying that, I mean, you could get players for Wales and stuff like that. I mean, Motherwell seem to be very successful. The one that surprised me going to St Mirren was Curtis Main.
Was he? Oh, is it? I don't know. Was he not one? Yeah. Motherwell player, Aberdeen player. Yeah.
Aye. I think he's a great striker. He's a menace. I think he'd be an absolute nightmare to play against because he's solid. Aye, he's solid. He was good in the air. He was quick in the turn. I hated playing against. Well, not me personally, but Rangers. I hated playing against them because I thought he was just a nuisance. Even if his score rate is no bad, but he was just one of the players you just want fucking ready.
So what about your
team of the year?
What are you thinking then, Peter?
What we'll do is
before you ask.
Yes.
How many Rangers players are on your team?
11.
I knew it.
No, I think they're only 10. No, what we'll do is we'll give our opinion at each position rather than saying, right, this is my first 11. Because obviously I've got what I'll state first, right? On Instagram, the SPFL's official team of the year, they played a 4-4-2. Right? So they had McGregor, they had back four starting with Tavernier, Golson, Kerr for St Johnstone, and Doig for Hibs. On the right midfield, they had Boyle, then Davis, Turnbull, and Kent, with Edward and Morelos up front. So no bad. That's a pretty good score.
No, it's a decent. Was that a majority thing with the viewers? Was it? Yeah.
I don't really know. That was on. They seem to be happy with that. Obviously, everybody's got their different opinion. Talking about goalkeepers, I hated debate, but a good debate with Ryan last night about the goalkeepers. Now I picked McGregor, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's raving about McGregor.
I don't disagree with that one.
I wouldn't like to think so. However, I think Siegrist would run him pretty close.
Is that the Dundee United?
Aye.
Keeper?
Aye.
Yeah.
Because his stats, I would say it's because he's the busiest of keepers.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of games where McGregor's not really been called upon, but yet it's just that one super save
Moments
during the course
in
of a game. Aye.
Yeah.
But look at the Old Firm games, right, against Celtic, where it's like fingertips. For Griffiths, and then the one he's touched onto the bar for the last one. Then the European save, where how God knows he kept on to that, I don't know. So he had a lot of saves. So McGregor, I mean, he played just in the league. I'm not looking at all competitions or anything like that. This is just SPFL games. He played 27, he had 17 clean sheets, and he only conceded 10 goals. So, I mean, it's difficult to sort of argue that he's just phenomenal. So, you have got the same keeper, or have you went with the same?
Yeah. I think personally, I'm thinking that's light out my baldy head here, so because it'll be pretty bright.
I was looking at shades, changing these to sunglasses.
I think just based on the stats here, Peter, I think it'd be pretty hard to not vote for McGregor. Easy one that for me, easy one.
So, what formation are you playing? Because I'm playing a 4-2-3-1.
I'm tinkering about with this actually.
Right.
I'm going 4-3-3.
Right. Okay. So who's your right back?
Tavernier.
Same. 33 games, 10 assists, 12 goals.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, a few of the games he was injured.
And he's a defender. That might.
But also he's part of the back four that's conceded the less amount of goals in the whole league ever. So his defensive abilities have improved, because when he came here about 5 years ago, I know when we were in the lower leagues, he scored in the first 10 games and everybody was raving, what a player. And then people started seeing his defensive abilities were a wee bit light. He was fantastic going forward, but then obviously coming back. But I don't know if that's because he was made captain, but he's took on more responsibility.
First and foremost, when you're a defender, you're scoring that amount of goals. You have to take notice. I don't care if they're penalty kicks, free kicks, or whatever. He shows he's brave, he's confident, but the amount of goals that he scores for the open play, how high he is at the back post when the ball's in the when that ball's on the left hand side, he's like a fox in the box type. And you're like, he's doing the role like a sort of striker or a winger. His energy levels are phenomenal.
Yeah, I think his cross success rate was about 47% or something.
Yeah, that was the area where, for me, that's where I think, and I'm surprised at even saying it, I think the first couple of years he maybe struggled a wee bit with it. But over the last year, he's really worked on his game there. I tell you, if I'm a Rangers fan, or if I'm the lad, is it Patterson, fullback?
Yeah.
I admire this young kid for taking up the challenge, because obviously it's still early yet. He's away to the Euros. I think he's a talent. I don't think he's anywhere near Tavernier yet, but I think he'll push Tavernier.
Definitely. I mean, he's a natural replacement for him. So I think it's before the season started, I always try and look, no sort of negatively, but to think, what happens? What if this happens? And one of them was, what are we going to do if Tav goes? If he gets injured, long-term injury? And then look at Patterson. Just slot it straight in, and he's been phenomenal. For a young lad, his attitude has been great, fearless, and I think it's running through the Scotland squad now. I mean, for them to go to Holland, well, I don't think I don't think the game was in Holland, wasn't it? No,
no, it was in Portugal.
Aye,
but great game.
It was, and I think they were for the Dutch player to con the ref for a free kick in the last fantastic free kick.
Yeah,
but terrible to give away. But I mean, the Motherwell defender, I think he'll learn for that, won't he? Well, it wasn't a Motherwell defender. It was,
No,
was it Jack Henry?
It was Jack Henry, aye.
Aye. Yeah, I think he'll learn for that. So with Tav, as I say, we're both agreed that's our right back. So your right centre back, who are you going for?
Again, another Rangers. I hate to say this, another Rangers.
You got a cheek to say to me. How many Rangers players in your team? How many's in yours?
There's not as much as what you think.
Right, so who are you going for?
What they call him? Goldson.
Aye, yeah. Likewise. He's played every minute of every game in all competitions. Phenomenal. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. Was it 5,000 minutes or something like that? I don't know the actual figure, but it's just stupid. So he's played all Premier League games, 38 games. He's helped with 17 clean sheets, and he's come up with 4 goals and 2 against Celtic.
Yeah.
The man, it was just crazy.
Here's my thing then. I would like, if I'm the manager, I would be saying to him, I want to see more goals off you. Because, I mean, for set plays, how many did you say? 4 goals?
4 goals.
Yeah. I look at the amount of free kicks and corner kicks that Rangers get. And I would be saying
a bigger return.
A bigger return. That for me, that's the message I would be saying to him now, to say, right, big man, trust you 100%. You're a solid rock for us, undeniable. But the challenge I'm going to give you this year will be, can you score more goals? And I think you might see a bigger return.
Yeah, but also you could use him as a set play target man. And maybe release somebody else to run in behind or running in front or whatever, where the opposition focuses mainly on Goldson.
Yeah, they probably do it, to be fair.
So, I mean, obviously you've got your big target men like Hollander and Goldson and Balogun as the sort of main threats, but as you say, for that sort of effort, you would want, ideally you would like a bigger return. But on the flip side, he's helped the team with 17 clean sheets, so you can't really complain. So your left centre back, I think this is where we might differ. Who have you got?
I went for Aya.
Right.
Yeah. Has it been his best season? For him personally, he probably might turn around and say no. But I would find it difficult to replace him. I think he's got great recovery, speed of recovery. Positionally, again, he could positionally. I think he'll move on. I think it's already talking Southampton.
I think it's definitely on the cards.
Southampton Celtic must be a feeder club for Southampton.
Boric and Foster and everybody else.
There's a few, Armstrong as well. And big, what do you call him? Big centre half, big Van Dijk.
Aye, Virgil.
Yeah, Virgil. Yeah, so that would be mine.
I think where as a defender, where he lets him down is he's very attacking minded. I mean, look at the games against Rangers where he was just cutting through the middle of the pitch. I thought he was one of the bigger threats.
Now, Peter. I mean, if anything for us, we promote that. We're promoting that as long
as you get the players to understand to drop.
I mean, that's stuff that you work on the training ground, and you're hoping that good players recognise that. If you see your centre, especially your defensive centre midfielder.
Rangers used to have it with Amaruso and Bagheera and all these sort of guys just going mazy runs. You're thinking, where the hell are you going?
Yeah, but that'll be stuff. I mean, we work on that quite a lot. The false fullback thing. If we're playing 3 at the back, if the left centre back decides to go for an easy, the defensive centre mid will just drop in and protect, so you've still got a back 3 again. But then it's about controlling how far he actually goes up.
Mm-hmm.
If it goes all the way up into the 18-yard box, then you're like,
You've not got any cover.
Where are you going here, pal? You need to shift the gears to try and get back the right side of the game if there's a transitional turnover.
And especially if oppositions get pace.
Yeah,
and
I tell you what, this is where I think Celtic will miss Scott Brown, because he allowed that to happen. Allowed that to happen for Celtic.
He dropped through. Yeah, he certainly dropped. But it's just going to be very interesting who they're going to bring in.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Mine, I went for Porteous for left centre back.
All right. Okay.
He played 34 games. For a centre back, his passing success rate was pretty good. It was 84%. And like Goulson, you would like to have got more of a goal return off him. He only scored one. Mm-hmm. But I think some people thought it was because he was young. He was rather rash and gung-ho in the challenges and everything else. And I think we discussed it before. He's the sort of player that you hate in the opposition team, but by Christ, you would be raving about him if he was in your team.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're thinking, oh, that's a rough tackle, that.
Yeah.
But as I says, on the flip side, if he played for your team, I think he'd be one of the players you would love to have in your team. So that's for centre back. So we've got the back three. So who's your left back?
Barisic.
Well, I've got Barisic, but looking at that SPFL, Doig is a good shout as well. I think he's had a great season. And a couple of St Johnstone players have played really, really well as well. They could have easily slotted into that back four. But I went for Barisic. Played 33 games, 8 assists. His cross ratio was 43%, and he scored a goal. That's just in the league alone.
Yeah.
His crossing is just absolutely scary, to be honest with you. And as you say, you obviously working a lot of things on the training pitch, and the amount of times he's found Tavernier as a right back at the back post, that's just is nuts.
Yeah,
absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, Rangers figures are just through the scale this season. So plus his pace going forward, I'm hoping Rangers keep a hold of him.
I think he'll be there for another season.
Aye, the good thing is, going and speaking, well, the reports from the players, all the Rangers players seem to love playing at the club.
Yeah.
And hopefully, unless a stupid offer comes in for players, then hopefully Rangers wouldn't like to see a few of them leave. So that's the back four. You happy with your back four?
Yeah.
The only difference is, see, Ayer was on my subs bench. I was sneaky. I had a subs bench lined up and all to try and cover my backside.
I was thinking about with formation. I went 4-3-3 and then I went 4-5-1 to try and get key players in. But no, I ended up saying, no, I'm going to attack. I'm going to attack. I've got Stephen Davis as my holding midfielder.
Well, that's who I've got. I've got Stephen Davis at the age of 35. His passing success rate, do you know, it's 91%.
Yeah.
That's just, you can see his experience. He's no flamboyant. It just keeps it simple. He plays it safe, and he's got a good head. He'll know when to make the cut and pass, and he knows when to just keep possession, slow the tempo, or pick it up. And if he doesn't see any option, he'll play it back. But also, when Tav and Barisic go forward, he drops back to be covering.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to tell you who I had in there, and I had Stephen Davis / Alan Campbell.
He's had a great season.
Yeah, and I tell you what, and I think Davis nicked it because it obviously won the championship. But
is he another player that's left Motherwell, Campbell?
He's left. I don't know where he's went to though. I think he's down south. He's went to very young player. I think he's still on the Scotland under 21 team. But
it's mental. You're losing good players to sort of not even top English teams. It's teams maybe in the League Two and League One.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The money down there, Crammy when it comes back on, when he wants to come back on. Sorry, Crammy. We'll tell you the money down there is just it's night and day to where it is up here.
It's just. I mean, Ryan and I have been on a couple of times with a podcast down in England with Ryan's Blackpool connections, and it gets me angry a few times where fans disrespect the Scottish game up here. I think is very very underrated.
Never mind fans. I mean, I heard. What do you call him? Bournemouth manager Jonathan Woodgate. Is it Woodgate? The centre back. When they were
used
talking,
to play, with Middlesbrough and stuff. He was. There was a discussion in Talk Sport I heard about 2 months ago, and it was the time when they were talking about the all usual. How would Celtic Rangers do in the Premiership? Sure. And he was, and this was before he got to the playoffs, and he wasn't happy with it. That any, as far as he was concerned, it was like nonsense, and they wouldn't do well against teams like Bournemouth, and I went, really? So Rangers and Celtic, they keep bringing this argument. Oh, they would maybe mid-table or bottom half of the table. Does that mean Rangers and Celtic, when they get the same sort of pot of gold as every other team? And we would have to play with the team that we've got now? Yeah. If Rangers and Celtic played in the Premier League, they'd certainly be in the top 6.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Because
I think for stability, they would be probably mid-table first season. Then they would get injection of money. And then you would see, I mean, let's not be kidding. It's all about money. See if you get and if you've got a wealthy owner, and I think if that had to happen, who wouldn't want to buy into Rangers or Celtic? I mean,
yeah, definitely. You would have all these sheiks and Chinese and Indian people want to buy them.
I can understand why they don't do it now, because obviously the Scottish game isn't as high profile as the English Premiership. The English Premiership for me is the best league in the world. But you put Celtic
I don't know. It certainly attracts the best players, but some of the games you watch, you're thinking, this is boring.
Yeah. But you get that in any division, Pedro.
I know. But I think for a whole football experience package, I don't think you can see by Germany.
Quality league, technically very good.
But also the infrastructure for the fans to get to the games.
For the fans, I mean, it's the one place that they look after their fans.
Definitely. I mean, some of the folk that I know, they've been to Hamburg and Dortmund and all these sort of places, and their ticket price includes their travel.
Yeah.
And you just show like your ticket to the game and you're getting free travel, and it's second to none. Yeah. And then when you look at that big wall behind the goal at Dortmund, and then you look at the Allianz Arena, the stadium.
It's quality.
Oh, it's
I've been
scary.
to Dortmund.
Have you?
Dortmund, special place. In fact, my one and only time to go to Dortmund is when Motherwell played them.
Right, aye.
Alex McLeish was manager.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a training pitch right next to the stadium. So the guys, Stefan Schapuzat and that was playing with Switzerland, was playing with Dortmund, and we had. I'm trying to think who was in that team, but they were on the pitch. They were on the big pitch. And they're doing a passing drill, and we just watched Dortmund go on first on the training ground, and then walked over to watch the passing drill with McLeish and that, and you're going, oh no, no.
They beat you at training.
Oh man.
Right, so getting back to this, we both agreed that Steve Davis would be a holding midfielder. Well, as I says, I went for a 4-2-3-1. So my other defensive midfielder is Kamara. For a player, he's 92%. He's actually got a better passing success rate than Davis at 92%. He scored 1 goal and he's played 33 games. So he's been phenomenal for Rangers. Everybody keeps raving about value for money because they got him for 50 grand. Finnish international, and he's one that I think it could possibly move on.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will.
Wouldn't like to think so. I wouldn't like to think so.
I think these guys, before they move on, want to experience an Ibrox filled out stadium, and I think that's. I think they'll go for another year at it. They want to absorb, and I think they'll win the league again next year as well. To be honest.
Here's a thought, and I'm sure we've spoke about it before. If everything was normal, right, and all the fans were in, do you still think Rangers would have won the league? The reason for me asking, right, you take into games like the Motherwell game, right? Motherwell are winning 1-0 up to the 70-odd minute or so, right? Yeah. The players didn't have any pressure for the fans. They could still play their game, not carefree, but without any outsourced pressure on them. Where they knew if we keep plugging on, we'll keep playing our game, we'll keep plugging on, we know we'll get a goal.
Yeah.
When the chips are down and the fans are on your back, that's when you see boys turn to men and men turn to boys. So that's what made me think, as a fan, it's sad that we never got to see it or experience it, especially after 10 years. But so, on the flip side, I'm glad they didn't have any sort of outsource sort of pressures on top of that. What's your thoughts?
That's it's a tremendous question. It's one of the what if moments in it. Yeah. What if Rangers play Celtic play Rangers at home at Parkhead? Does that result, the very first game, will the fans accept that? Can they do something about it? I think both Parkhead and Ibrox are, as a player, I mean, to play in a full capacity there, I mean, that's
made a dream stuff, innit?
That's what it's all about, innit?
But some people go into their cell, excuse the French, they shite their cell. Yeah. I think it's been beneficial more for Rangers because I've seen the hostile environment that Rangers fans can do, not to opponent teams, but to their own players. I've seen it. I think every club's got that, haven't they? They've got their fans. No matter what a player does, he just constantly gets bombarded.
You guys are renowned for wrecking stuff, aren't you? Because you've done it again.
Back away and give my head peace. Every club has got their Neanderthals, they're idiots. But that's. I don't want to brush it under the carpet, but some of the fans need to have a right hard look at themselves. And
what's your
went to George?
4-2-3-1, was it?
4-2-3-1, yeah. So I went with McGregor, Tav, Goulson, Porteous, Barisic, Kamara, and Davis. So, who's your second midfielder?
I have got David Turnbull.
Right.
Very attacking player, tremendous from Motherwell. Horrible injury to the kid, and
but credit to Celtic, they went back in and got him. They could have easily just left it.
I think they had to. I think it would be embarrassing on the club if they never done it.
Unless it was agreed at the time. Go away and get yourself sorted.
I heard it already been agreed. I heard that Celtic had a big influence on his rehab as well. which I think. I mean, you hear these things. You don't know how much they're all true, but you hear there was a pre-contract already signed up to say, listen, you'll get 6 months and then you'll be coming in.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, funny enough, Turnbull's in my team as well, right? He played 31 games, and out of the games, do you know how much his average play time is? How his average time on the pitch?
I wouldn't think it would be that much.
It's 66 minutes.
Right, yeah.
Because the amount of times Lennon hooked him off, even though he's the best player on the pitch. Right? So,
when he started, he was only getting about 5 or 10 minutes.
But why did it take them so long to start involving him in the team? And it was only since they were in the team at the tail end of the year when they brought him in. Was it around about October time or something like that? It was just started to play him. He got 9 goals with 6 assists. You know what I mean? And averaging out 66 minutes a game. I mean, the guy is just, I think he's a fantastic talent. I really do. You know what I mean? He's.
I don't think he'll get a shot in the Euros, though.
I think he will.
Do you? I think
he offers the team something. He offers the team.
I don't think he'll play against England. I think he'll. No, I don't. In fact, I don't even think he'll play at all. I think it will be
McGregor.
I think our midfield guys. I hope Billy Gilmore gets a crack at it. I really do. I think.
He's the sort of holding midfielder, eh?
Yeah, I would love him. I don't think he will get a crack at it. I think it will be McGinn and McTominay. It will be the two, but I think for this is the best squad I think we've had in a long time.
I agree.
And you know what? I hate all this chat for Clark needs to do this, Clark needs to do that, right? What a bollocks, right? The guy's got us to our first championship in how many years? I don't know, 20, 30 years, whatever it is. I mean,
the guy would have been 24, but it's 25, obviously, because of the extra year.
I am going to mention another curveball here. I don't know how far on the Celtic Australian lad is, but I was convinced. I was convinced that Celtic were going to wait until Steve Clark finishes with the Euros and then go and get him.
That's what I thought, but I don't think Steve Clark could do anything, but I know he was sort of totally against the sort of bigotry side of the things, and that really, he wouldn't want to put his family under that sort of microscope. So I think he would love the job. Whether he took it or not is a different matter altogether, with regards to the political side of being a Celtic manager. But going back onto the Scotland squad, I think you're right. I mean, as I say, I don't really watch a lot of games, internationals, but I sat and watched the last couple, and I thought they'd done really, really well. Patterson came on, played well, but Billy Gilmore, as you say, he seems to be the sort of Frank Lampard, Stevie Davis player for Scotland. Where he's controlling, he'll drop deep, he'll pick it up, he'll play through him, and he'll go forward and pass it on, and then just stay around a bit and sweep up any sort of. What was interesting to see him do was when he got that free kick later on in the game, or at the weekend there, he went by a couple of players. So his upper body strength, he seems to be building that up.
He's working on that, I watched a wee thing on Chelsea TV. Today actually, and so grounded. The kid seems so grounded. Dawson still goes and plays with wee brother on the pitch, and his wee brother thinks with Kilmarnock. And I mean,
when I used to work with the under 15s, it was him and that. Obviously, they're a good group of lads, but him and Dapple, my buddy, were the sort of standout players, and they ran the show, especially over at the Milk Cup over in Kilrain in Northern Ireland. They were really, really good lads. And
Yeah, I actually never knew this, right, until I seen one of my old players, Jack Morton. Shout out to Jack Morton. How you doing, kid? He's got Bryce Finest.
right,
Put something up when we played them when we were at Airdrie. And there's a picture of Big Jack, and right standing next to him was Billy Gilmer.
right.
Time at Rangers. It was. I mean, see when you reflect on some of the players that you've actually come up against who have went on to bigger and
I know.
greater things.
Yep. And then
I mean,
on the flip side, how many players have you thought they're fantastic and then they
yep,
just
I
fell
never
away
went.
the wayside?
Yep. It's a strange game we're in, Paul. Definitely a strange game.
I mean, when Rangers won the Youth Cup against Hearts at St Mirren, I mean, you get good players like Danny Stoney and Andy Murdoch and Darren Ramsey and all these Ryan Cinnamon and stuff like that. They were a great bunch of lads, and a lot of them are just playing sort of amateur stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's really sad. And then Cal Gallagher, who I thought was a fantastic striker, I think he's still at Airdrie, isn't he? Callum Gallagher.
Yep.
I mean, great lads. So that's my two defensive midfielders. You've done your three, haven't you? Or have you?
Aye. Right. So
Who's your third one? Because you've done Davis and Turnbull.
right. So I'm leaving suspense here, right?
Oh, it's a moving part here,
But
is
I'm
it?
going to go from because I'm stuck with it. So I'm going to go into striker. So my left hand side is Kent.
Ryan
Kent. Yeah.
Mm.
In fact, I'll tell you who it was. It was Scott Arfield. Well, I had Scott Arfield down, and then I went, hang on now, he got injured. So I scrubbed him out, because I'm a big, I hate to say it, because they're a Rangers player, but Scott Arfield.
Box to box, isn't he?
But then I had Ryan Kent.
Ah, but you could put him into your front three.
I like Ryan Kent.
Could you not put him into
No,
your front three?
As my midfield three.
Uh-huh.
Because I was stuck between three players. McGregor, Ryan Kent, no Kent, what do they call him? Rangers player.
Aribo?
No.
Hadji?
No. No, gee whiz, he got injured. Oh, man. No, it's gone.
No.
Gone. But I'm going up top. I'm going Ryan Kent on the left-hand side.
Right. Well,
I've got to look at this now because we're talking here.
Right. Well, obviously I went 4-2-3-1, so I've got my two defensive ones. My three midfield, right? I've got out on the left, Kent, right? Played 37 games, 10 goals, 9 assists. And I think with his own admission, he would have wanted more goals than that as well, and should have scored more goals than that.
Mm-hmm.
My centre mid had Turnbull, and we went through his stats. And this is where the curveball comes in. Anytime I've watched him play against Rangers or a couple of the other teams, I've been really impressed with his attitude, his drive forward. I went for Aberdeen's Hedges.
All right.
He's played 28 games. He's scored 5 goals. He's got a pass rate of 78%. But his dribbling and getting by players, that's the thing that impressed me. And his drive to go forward and shirk a tackle and stuff like that. I thought, no, I really like the look of you. And I wouldn't be surprised if Rangers have a look at him in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was talk about him getting looked at. But I quite like to look at him. Whenever I've watched him play.
When I was looking at my formations, Peter, I was stuck between my right hand side. I was stuck between two Hibs players.
Mm-hmm.
Laddie Martin Boyle.
Yep.
Blistering pace. Exceptionally well this year.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that I thought, yeah, I'm going to stick him in until I started looking at it, and then I started thinking about goals and assists, and then I went for Kevin Nisbet. And I'll tell you why I went for Kevin Nisbet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, another one boy that like Billy Gilmore, came across him when he was with Partick Thistle. And even at a young age, I went, oh, this guy's... I came in to talk to Big Scotty Allison about it, Big Peaslow's pal.
Mm-hmm.
I went, he looks a special talent.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, there you go. First game for Scotland. It's great. Scores. Great
against
area.
Scotland. What a ball in and what a finish.
I mean, but for me, he does that role so well. He comes into the wide area. He's linked up. By the way, how many goals has he scored this year? He scored up, I think it's something like, is it 13 goals, 14 goals or something?
I'll tell you now. Hibs, I don't know how they do it, and I think the recruitment team need a lot of plaudits, and it's not just this year, it's year on year. Hibs have always produced fantastic players. They're a team that you just hate playing against.
Yeah.
And then they'll go and they'll drop stupid points.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating. So we're talking about Nisbet, and he scored 12 goals.
Yeah.
So
wait, did you say 21?
He is 24.
24, is he?
He's 24.
Right.
24.
Yeah.
But I think there's talk about him getting a move to Celtic, isn't there?
Oh, is there? But,
and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Good player. Good player.
That's the thing as well, though. When you see players, how many good players have came to your club and you're thinking, oh, he's a superstar, he's going to be great, and it turns out to be shite.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's be a catalogue of things where it's maybe down to the mentality around the club, the systems that they play, the duties that they've been asked to do. I don't know, the players that they're playing against. And I think we spoke about it before, Jason, where you get two different players in a different wavelength. I mean, when Rangers were really, really successful with guys like Brian Laudrup and Gascoigne, you needed players around about them like Durant and McCoist and Haitley and stuff that were in the same sort of wavelengths, that anticipated that sort of pass, that would split a defence.
Yeah.
If you've got a creative player wanting to pass a ball through, split a defence, and your strikers aren't in the same wavelength, then it's just going to fall down, isn't it? I mean, you've been a coach, you'll know that yourself. You need to juggle everything. Can this player play with that team, or it just all depends. But there's other guys better qualified and experienced than I am. So that was
my other midfielder. This is where I was at a bit of debate. I had a couple in there, right? Obviously, I spoke about Scotty Arfield and whatever, but probably the guy that I was going to go for was the lad Ferguson in Aberdeen. Mm-hmm. And I know Sean raves about this laddie because I think he spent time with that other team for Lanarkshire. That Diddy team for Hamilton.
How much does his dad love Hamilton Accies? Derek Ferguson. Did you watch him on that open goal?
I need to be honest with you, I actually had no idea that was his boy.
Did you know?
I had no idea. No,
I think he does play it down a wee bit, and he tries to speak up his other sons on that Blues Brothers podcast. He tries to speak him up rather than just obviously talk about his son. So I don't think, some folk are saying, oh, they want to come to Rangers, but I don't think he's at that level yet.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
That's how I think. And this is how I go back to my point earlier on, with Scott Brown going up there with Stephen Glasson. I mean, you just look at Aberdeen and how they played at the tail end of last season there. Mm-hmm. I thought they were right on fire. I thought they were on it.
Yeah.
And he was an integral part of that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a young player but it's about 20, 21, 22 maybe. I think he's 21, I think he is now. I mean, you've got an experienced player, and Scott Brown coming to the club. I think.
They're both in the same sort of role, aren't they?
Yeah. I think looking at it, you've got sort of like two sort of holding guys that will allow Turnbull a freedom to play just in front of him. I mean, I would be saying, yeah, just stay with us for another season, kids. Yeah.
Right, he would gain so much experience working under Scott Brown.
Yeah. And he's getting minutes. He would get minutes as well. Game minutes.
Yeah. Because I think him and Ross McCrory play well together, to be honest with you. I really like Ross. I think
it's a good move for him as well, though, eh?
Aye. I don't think he got a fair crack at it. When just before Gerrard came, he was getting a bit of a run in the team and everything else, and he was playing well. But he's been utilised all over the place. He was at right back, he was at left back, he was centre back, and then he was in midfield. And it's trying to find out where his best position is, because I think he's pretty good in all three.
Mm-hmm.
Midfield and defence and wing backs. I think he's pretty good, but he's no scared to put a tackle in. And I think he could be next in line over the next year or so to get into the full international squad.
Yep.
Where his brother differs right enough is because it's a specialised position, the goalkeeping.
Yeah.
That's where Robbie is going to have a bit of a fall, you know. I don't know, but going on to your
So I was going to say, what be your striker? Who you got your strikers? You got two, haven't you?
One. I went a 4-2-3-1. I had to go for Morelos, right? It's not because he's goals, because Edward has scored about 18 goals and Morelos has only scored 12. But it is his all-round play this season. One, his disciplinary record's a lot better, but the amount of times he dropped deep, his movement off the ball, his teamwork and link-up play has been far superior to what Edwards is. And that is the reason why I put him in. Because if he drops back, then you're hoping players like maybe Kent and Turnbull would run beyond him to give him that sort of striker option. So that's how I tried to slot him in. I don't think Edward comes back. He doesn't drop back as much.
Sorry, I'm going with Eddie. And by the way, and I'll tell you why.
Fair shout.
I'll tell you why I'm going for him, right? You've just mentioned there about his goals.
Yeah.
And a season which I think he was doing things half-heartedly. I was quite disappointed with him.
His attitude was totally wrong.
Yeah. I think his head was turned by maybe other offers that may happen. If I'm in his shoes, I'm saying if I want to move to the Premiership, which undoubtedly he wants to do, I'm having a right good season before I leave. So my pay trebles, and obviously, I mean, all parties are happy. He gets a nice sign-on fee. Celtic got a nice record for him, and I don't think he done himself any favours apart from he finished top goal scorer though. Eh?
He did, aye. And I think that's where you and I totally agree. Where I don't understand these players' mentalities. If you want a big move, you burst a gut. You do everything you can. Give that extra 2% or 5%, whatever, to get you that move.
Yeah.
And then everyone's happy because, as you just rightly proved, said that you can get more money for the club, bigger sign-on fee, bigger wages, and all people are happy. But when his attitude was just totally wrong, but yet he still ended up the top league goal scorer. I just think his work ratio... Through the course of the season, you did see flashes of genius. When he's in that box, he's absolutely lethal. It's just phenomenal inside that box. Even with 2, 3, 4 players on about him, it was just phenomenal. He would find that wee flick, turn, find a pass, maybe a 1-2 with someone, and that's where he came alive. But I think I don't know. I'm conflicted because if you go back to the old days of 4-4-2, you don't get wingers anymore that go to the byline and take it in. You don't get strikers, poachers anymore, like McCoy and Robertson and all these sort of things. Boyd. At the end of the day, it's goals that win you games.
Yeah.
So why would you want your striker coming out the box to link up play, to put the ball into a box where you should be to bang it? Because there's no other player that's going to have a better success rate than what a striker is.
Yeah.
So, we've just proven football has totally changed. Whether it's for the best, I don't know. I don't know. It's gone are the days where young players, you'll see it more in the academy, where when was the last time you seen a young player enjoying training and being given the freedom to express themselves?
I think what we try and do is allow them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of the guys, especially who you play for, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lad, we're obviously playing Rangers this weekend, and I know there's a lad who plays with them, he's a bit of a sand dancer and whatever. And I mean, if they're allowed to do that, fine. When he's doing nice pirouettes in the middle of the park and whatever.
He wouldn't have longer hair, would he?
No, he has got longer hair. He has got a bit longer hair.
AL.
No comment on that.
I'm getting you into bother.
But I mean, I go that, and I'm going. Just play the boss on. Don't need to do that. Don't need to do that. I think there's a time and a place for it. I think if you're doing it, maybe in the wide areas where you're trying to create some space and whatever, middle of the pitch. You know what I mean? I know as they get older, that will certainly get knocked out of them because in the Scottish game, you'll get the guys who'll just no take it.
They'll go through you.
Aye, they'll just maybe in the Premiership with Jack Grealish and that could get away with it because he can back it up. He can take it and hit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm trying not to talk old school here, but just pass and move.
Mm-hmm. No, it's one of the old debates, isn't it, about what was before. Obviously, things change. Everything changes in life. Cars, technology, everything else. Everything moves. But my view has always been it's goals that win you games.
Yeah.
So why recreate the wheel when it works?
Yeah.
But with regards to Morelos, that's the reason why I put him in, because it does drop, it does link up play, he holds the ball up fantastically well. He's unbelievable at holding the ball up. And going in reports and hearing other defenders, he's just an absolute wee shite to play against.
I think he's just overweight. That's my general feeling. I think he's overweight. I think he come back for pre-season probably a stone overweight. I don't think he's ever shifted it.
No, that's a bit heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, but
here's a thought. See, if Griffiths got a run of games, would he have been in your team?
Yes.
Likewise.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't like the guy, but I think he's a phenomenal striker.
Mentioned that there because obviously we're going to go into the Euros, right, and how excited we are. I think he's the man that Steve Clark should have took.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's the guy who I would probably put my money on the last 20-25 minutes to go on and maybe sneak one in.
Well, saying that's on the park. Could he do damage to the squad off the park?
That's the gamble you take there. And I think maybe Clark has maybe experienced some of it. Mm-hmm. And went, nah, I don't fancy it. I think he could be.
I don't want the dramas.
Yeah, and I know guys who know him better. I had dealings with him back in the days when we were at Livingston, when I was doing a bit of scouting there, when Snodgrass and that was there. Boy, guys are talent. 100% guys are talent.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I totally agree.
there's things there that needs to be addressed, and I think it needs a bit of help with it, to be honest.
You took words in my mouth. I think it's a lot of mental health issues.
Yeah.
But you find that, I mean, I try and take a step back from being a Rangers fan, and you look at guys like Neil Lennon and Scott Brown and Lee Griffiths, and it should be in your blood where you hate these guys. But I'm sure, see if you're on a night out with them or in their company, it doesn't need to be out drinking or anything. I'm sure they're your best pal.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys. I don't know Neil Lennon. I've never been Neil Lennon, but when I was with Gordon Gale could not talk any higher of Neil Lennon. Said, "Listen, genuine guy." I think there was a charity day at Airdrie. Can't mind what the charity was for. And Neil Lennon turned up, played the game, went to the after dinner speech thing, and he said,
I think that was the charity game I took Ryan to. It was up at Excelsior Park.
Aye, it was. He says even Rangers fans were coming up to him and went, "Listen, really hated you, but you know what? See what you're doing here." Fantastic.
Well, before one of the Old Firm games, we were in the stadium. Our pal, it sits right next to us. Ryan's pal, he's from Portadown, and because he shouted Neil Lennon across, and he got his picture taken and everything else inside the stadium. So hats off to him, as I say. I mean, if you dislike him in any way, that's your remit. And when he's at the side of the pitch, I've tended to dislike him myself. But I'll tell you one of the funny wind-ups first though was, you know yourself, the amount of abuse players and managers get, right? Especially, you must dread it if you're a sub, right? Because you're having to warm up against the opposition fans. When Ryan his season ticket was at the opposite, the away end, and they were playing Hearts. Neil McCann and Paul Hartley were warming up, right? And one of these Rangers fans was like, "You gypsy smelling bastard, you gypsy bastard, you dirty bit," right? And he took us all game just before he went on, and he turned to a Rangers fan and says, "But I'm a 10 grand a week, gypsy bastard."
Easy go, easy go.
I thought, see, for banter, every fan for any club loves an Ali McCoist, and you would like to have thought that Rangers fan would have took the banter and saying, "Right, fair dues, I've gave you it, get a wee bit back." But for some reason, Rangers, any fan, I suppose.
It's the make-up of Old Firm fans, you know what I mean? But hey ho. Anyway,
a bit of banter. So that was our squad. Just as a backup, I'm going to tell you who my subs were, right? Because I was a bit of a sneaky wee shite, having a wee sort of backup. So, as I said, Siegrist was my goalkeeper, because his stats this year were really, really good. Then I had Ayer, just as a backup, because I thought, like you picked him in your main squad. Hollander, I thought he'd done well. Hanlon for Hibs, I thought he had a really, really good season. Person you picked was Ferguson for midfield. Anytime I've seen this young lad coming on for Celtic, I thought he played really, really well, especially against Rangers at Ibrox when they played the diamond. He was the base of the diamond. Soro. I thought Soro played pretty well. Excuse me.
It's a big bet.
Right. Newell, as I think Sean's pointed out before, I had a sort of love affair with Newell. I thought he was a really, really good player. Aribo. Then I had Edward and Roof as my two striking subs. So I had a wee bit of flexibility, maybe to change formation, whether to come on with a 4-4-2, change it to a diamond. You could have had a 4-3-3, any way you want.
So what about Euros now, Pedro?
Right. What am I thinking? I think it would be difficult for Scotland to get out of the group, but it's not unachievable. Know what I mean? Because it just, Well, it all depends who what the results are in the games, but depends. I've no looked at the Czechs, what their past games are like, and I don't think England are any great shakes.
Here, I listened to Archie Gemmell today on Talksport,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't agree with him more. The first game for me is all. See if we get a draw here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fancy us against England.
Really?
Yeah. If we get a win, which I think we will, I fancy either a draw against England, or my head is saying 2-1 England, but my heart is saying a draw, possible win, and I would have been more convinced if Lee Griffiths was there, because I'd have went Scotland win.
For set pieces?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, the two set pieces at Hampden, and they were unfortunate not to win that game.
Yeah.
But this is where Steve Clarke comes on to a game of his own with regards to mindset. I mean, I think that's the difference between a good player and a great player, where their mindset is you could have all the skills in the world, but yet when the pressure's on, you fold like a deck of cards, and I mean, or you could roar like a lion and you could be phenomenal. So I think he'll have them up for Wembley, but I don't think he'll be stupid enough to see by the Czech game first.
Yeah.
It's going to be our opening game. Disappointed it's 2:00 in the afternoon, right enough on a Monday.
It's well,
it's a bit of a kick in the pants.
Since we're talking about team selections and whatever, what's your team selection?
That's where I struggle because, as I say, I've never really been a big international supporter. So there's a lot of players in the Scotland squad I don't really know.
All right, okay, yeah.
I'm being blatantly honest. I know there's a couple of Motherwell players in there, and obviously McTominay and McGregor and stuff like that, and Dykes, but squads and everything else.
I think Steve Clarke has got an absolute headache here. A great one to have as if you're a manager. I personally think he'll stick with Marshall because the heroic stuff he's done to get us there.
He's also a good keeper.
He's a good keeper, but I personally think, hand in my heart, I think Craig Gordon's a better keeper.
Yes.
But
I mean, that's the thing with Scotland. I would say Scotland have, for decades, been blessed with fantastic goalkeepers.
I would probably say there's an argument there. I don't think Alan Rough is a great keeper.
In his day when he did play for Scotland and Partick Thistle.
I need to be honest, I was never the biggest fan of Jim Leighton either.
No, well,
but from Andy Gorham onwards, yeah, I would say, yeah.
On, was it Netflix? Or it was on Sky, on documentaries. Did you watch Alex Ferguson documentary?
All right. No,
and
I've seen the highlights.
He was talking about the time he dropped Jim Leighton with Man United.
Mm-hmm.
He was wanting to keep him in the... No, it was... Who was his assistant at the time? I think it was Bruce or McLaren. Whoever, I think it was McLaren was his assistant, and he wanted to keep him. It was for the cup replay, the cup final replay against Crystal Palace. And it was absolutely horrible in the first game. And then for the replay, when they brought in that other keeper, Ferguson dropped him, and Jim Leighton has no spoken to him to this day.
All right.
He says he had to for the better for the club and the squad, but his head was just totally gone.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think Scotland have had great keepers. I mean, in their day, like Jim Leighton at Aberdeen, he was really, really good. Rough when he was at Hibs, really good. And then you're Andy Gorham. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Phenomenal keeper. McGregor. So I think we've been very, very lucky. So
Do you think your guy Patterson will be ahead of O'Donnell?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. O'Donnell's did really well, to be fair with Scott. By the way, he's did really well with Motherwell. I think he's been a great signing for Motherwell. Has he got the legs of Patterson? No.
No.
But if you're looking for experience, I would. And he's did well. I mean, he did great against Holland.
It depends on how Clark wants to play the game, though. Whether he wants to be defensive or more attacking. If he wants to be more attacking, then he'll play Patterson.
Yeah, I think he'll go for O'Donnell, the big lead centre back. That I can never remember his name. And Tierney. That's my back three. Because he likes
Tierney's
to play
got some engine.
Yeah,
Tierney's got some engine.
I like what he's doing with him and Robertson. That interchange, and he can allow Tierney to go forward.
Robertson drop back.
Yeah, or support for depth. It's getting their best players on the pitch, and obviously Robertson on the left. The midfield is a problem for me. I think we're just overrun with good players in the middle of the park. I'd love to see Billy Gilmour in it. I'd love to see. I don't think he will though. For me, it'll be McTominay stand out. I think he'll go for McGinn and probably McGregor.
Well, he'll play the five across the middle, eh?
Yeah.
So he's sort of full-backs, wing-backs, will they be sitting?
Well, on the right, I think he's either going to go for James Forrest. I would go for James Forrest, but he might go for Fraser.
Well, it depends on how Forrest comes through this COVID, eh?
And Lyndon Dykes and who's the other Southampton lad?
Shea Adams.
Shea Adams, yeah.
With Forrest though, I mean, he's so predictable at coming inside, isn't he?
Yeah. By the way, I think, and I'll stick my neck out and say this, you could see, no, I'm not a big, massive James Forrest fan, but Celtic missed him last year. Celtic really missed him last year.
Well, the three games that he came back, he played really, really well, and you could see the difference.
Yeah.
But it's whether they can play together at Scotland, I don't know.
I'm stuck between, because I don't think McGregor the best of seasons. I would, if I was a gambling man, I'd love to put Armstrong in there. I'm a big fan of Armstrong, Armstrong, but I'm looking for. I'd love to put David Turnbull in there, 100%. I'd put David Turnbull in there, but I don't think Clark will do that. I think there'll be more. He's talking good talking now to say there's no point. He's just going there to be defensive minded. We're going to go for it. I think we need to be smart with it, and I think he'll be smart with it. I think with that lineup there, it'll be a close game. It'll be a nip and tuck game with England in particular. For me, to put Armstrong in there, he plays against half of these players anyway.
Yeah.
So and so does McGinn and so does McTominay.
Yeah.
That's I'm saying they three. I'd love it. I'd love Gilmour to be in there, but I don't think he will. I'd love Turnbull to be in there, but I don't think he will. I think he might come on later.
I think he could change the formation maybe to a 3-4-1-2. Just have Turnbull just sitting behind the front two.
I honestly think the England game he might go 4-2-3-1. You know. I think he'll go 4-2-3-1 because they're blessed with pace up top.
Yeah.
I tell you who I feel sorry for, Trent Alexander.
He's just pulled up, nobody near him, eh?
Yeah, that's a sore one for the kids. But look at England's team, man. They've got about 5 world class right backs.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Previously, when you look at the England team, it was just awash with world-class players. JT, Ferdinand, Ashley Cole, you name it. I mean, but yet they were hopeless.
I disagree with that, mate. I disagree.
Well, not hopeless, but they certainly should have been achieving more than what they did.
Yeah, but England's always been like that, though, haven't they? They've always been like that. I think their goalkeeper's questionable.
Yes.
I think the right back, they're fine. Harry Maguire's not. I'm not a big fan of Harry Maguire, but Stones I like. He's got mistake in them though. But I mean, if you're attacking centre back, you need to cut some slack there. Left back as well. I like the laddie Chiswell. I do like him. I would prefer him instead of the Man United lad.
They've also got Trippier, haven't they?
They've got Trippier on the right hand side, who's just won the league in La Liga.
Yep.
I think Kyle Walker probably will start. I like Kyle Walker.
Right.
And then you go into midfield. Their midfield, man, holy moly! It's how he plays it. I would love to see.
What formation do they normally play?
I think is it 3-2? Is it 3-2? 4-2-3-1? I think it is. Or maybe just a 4-3-3. But I think they go with two holding defensive midfielders.
Right.
I'd love to see Grealish in there. Love that guy.
He's a great talent, isn't he?
He just glides past people.
Yeah. Who do you think would be their strikers?
That's the question. Harry Kane, Sterling,
Rashford,
and Rashford. Yeah.
Scary.
I'm just trying to think of the other two centre midfielders. I don't think Henry.
At the end of the day, you rate Stevie Clarke. I think he'll have a lowdown on how he's going to play against them. He'll know what he's going to do. Whether it's achievable or not is a different matter.
Yeah.
And this is how I think if it's a full Wembley, it could be a totally different game.
And do you know? Again, COVID. I really feel for the fans here because we've not had this tournament. We've not been involved in a major tournament to this capacity in a long time, and the fans. Okay, hats off to the folk who've got tickets, but I mean, for the real fans, the Tartan Army, who I mean, I've been in their crowd many times. Great, passionate fans. Win, lose or draw. We know what we get. We're that used to.
They were always renowned. So, every country they went to, they were always greatly received, weren't they?
Yeah.
Army.
And it's great to see that there's no many Rangers fans. They're all England fans, so so there's never any bother.
You arsehole.
I'm looking forward to Friday. The opening game. That should be a good game.
Yeah. Right. So I think what I'll do is see instead of us picking a number, right? I've got this number generator thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Pick Crammy's and Sean's through this.
But I can't pick mine either, can I? Right, so what we do is out of the 24 numbers, right, I pick that, I press that, and it'll say, right, okay. So that could be Sean's, right? Number 9.
Number 9 is Sean's. By the way, you'll be raging that screen come up green there.
It doesn't bother me. Number 9, right? I don't believe this. Right, number 9.
Yeah.
Sean.
Oh, Shawnee boy. Shawnee.
There you go, mate.
Yeah.
Spreche de Deutsch. Right, so who are we doing next? Crammies.
Crammy.
Right, Crammy. Right, okay, where are we? I can fucking see what I'm doing here. Number 4.
4. Right. Oh, he'll want England. He'll definitely want England.
Well, it's no. Right. Number 4.
Yeah. Oh, Denmark. He's blonde anyway.
You would think he's Scandinavian. I better put their names next to this so I know who's got what. Sean, he'll be jumping about his kid on sickbed. Getting all, on the Dutch, the Germans, the Dutch. Right, so I'll pick mine now, right? Right, where the hell am I? Right, so number 4.
Peter, it only goes to 24, no 1690.
21.
21.
Oh, no, who's this? 21. Ah, can we and piss your pants? 21.
Yeah. Are you hungry?
I'm always hungry, mate. Don't believe it. I'm gubbed.
Just
right.
rip it up.
Right. No, I need to stick with it and try and find out what fucking group they're in. So, number. This is yours. 12. Piss off, man.
I don't think they'll do well.
Do you know?
No, I think they'll get to quarter final, not that.
Don't believe that. I get fucking hungry. Can we not do it again?
Do we go 2 teams in?
I would still end up with. Who else could have? I could have got. Right, so I could have
go 2 teams. Go 2 teams, Peter. Go
right.
2 teams. So
right.
Back to Sean again.
Right. Okay, so Shawnee boy, this is your second team.
No, hang on a minute. See this team here. Make this the readers' team.
Right, okay. Right, okay, this is...
Because I've got a funny feeling Mick Davey and Big Jack Morton will be like, oh, come on, whip it us, right. Big George, Big Gio.
Right, so number 3. Right, that's a Facebook team. Oh, they'll be kicking you one in the testicles. Right, number 3.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They deserve that.
Right, so back to our second team. Right, so
Shawnee boy.
24. Oh, I know who this is.
Spain.
Oh, 24. Down the road.
Sean supporting England.
Oh, he'll be burning that.
I am delighted to see that. I want to see him. I really want to see him turn up with an England top on for the show next week.
Yeah, Sean, your 2 teams, number 9, number 24.
Fagging. What a game that would be against 2 teams, isn't it? Oh, wow. I've Shawnee could win the Crammy boy.
Number 3.
Right. We've had 3, you know.
Aye, we have, aye, that's...
Right.
So how's that come up, that one? It shouldn't have done that, surely. 19. And this is for Crammy.
Yep.
19.
Oh, Espanol. Oh, he's done right, Crammy, isn't he?
This is better than the fucking Champions League draw, isn't it? I think I'll do a Rod Stewart. Right. This is my second one. It better be a good one, I'll tell you. It's hungry, man. What's that all about? Number 20. Number 20 is... It's not even any better, by the way, I'll tell you. I've no chance. Macedonia. Jesus Christ, man. I could be drawing it all night, I'd still end up with the shite. Oh, Ryan's just come in and says, I'm getting humped.
Big man, how you doing, Ryan, son?
Group F, by the way. I'm Group F, am I? Aye, for fucked. Right, and this is yours. Number 12. No, we've had 12. You've already had 12, Holland.
All right, right. I think we've had 4 as well.
4. This is hopeless, this generator, isn't it? 11.
We've not 11.
We've not 11. This is going to be controversial, Jason, my man.
Oh, the first game. Oh, dear. Dear. Oh, dear.
And then it's just the Facebook group. We're doing there, the last one.
Facebook.
Right.
And this will be posted on tonight. Who we've got? Number 1.
Numero uno. No. Numero uno. Sweden.
Oh, Sweden. That's not bad, but I don't think they'll do anything.
So that concludes the draw. It's something different. I thought we'll try that and see a couple of teams to follow and talk about.
Yeah, so hopefully...
Alan will be on for the next few weeks.
We'll be on next Wednesday, and hopefully we'll have a chat on some good stuff on the build-up to the Wembley game anyway.
Yep, and I hope Sean will be back fighting fit.
Well, Faggy, son. Get well, son.
So what's your prediction for Monday? What do you think the score will be before we finish up?
1-0 Scotland.
1-0 Scotland. Ryan,
yep.
What do you think? Czech Republic.
Czech Republic?
Aye, Scotland, Czech Republic for Monday. Are you?
In fact, no, I think I'm going to go.
He's absolutely shocked me here.
Obviously, for obvious reasons, I want him done, so it's 4-0.
He started saying 2-0 Scotland.
I want Czech Republic done, so it's 4-0.
But he's waiting for the other team.
No, I want the
Ryan, you'll never...
No, he's you want... Oh, aye, right, aye. No, he's wanting Scotland to win 4-0 because of the Czech Republic. Because it's the Czechs.
Ryan, do the Czechs still play red, white and blue as well?
Jason's asking, don't the Czechs play in red, white and blue? No, it's because of that race discriminating thing for that.
Oh yeah.
That one.
Yep.
What is it?
Yep.
What team is that again, Ryan? Sparta Prague.
Okay, thanks.
Slavia Prague.
Yeah, Prague.
So that'll be a wee bit.
You're Hungary, and in a group with France, Portugal, and Germany.
Okay, we ain't shite.
There you go. We're going to do well. I just had the groups there.
He says Hungary are in with France, Portugal, and Germany.
Oh,
Hungary's doing well, aren't they?
Right.
Don't ask me to put your lottery number on, for God's sake.
I think North Macedonia are in with Ukraine.
With who?
Ukraine.
Ukraine, are they? Macedonia. Right, so we'll call that a night.
Yep.
Thanks very much for your time once again. Jason, thanks very much for coming back.
Yep.
It's good to be back. It's good to have a few weeks off, right enough.
Good we break, pal, and we go again.
We sure do, and hopefully we Crammy and Sean on board as well, rather than us two talking shite.
Yep.
Right, so bid you good
Take
night,
care, pal.
man. Right, take care.
Right. Cheers, mate. Bye
Cheers
now.
now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.